Hello, everyone, and welcome to today's episode of Current Affairs MCQs. Let's begin with the previous day question. Consider the following statements regarding the Himalayan High Altitude Atmospheric and Climate Research Center. 1. It is located in Himachal Pradesh at an altitude of over 3,000 meters. 2. It is India's first high altitude climate research station. 3. It is ideal for high accuracy atmospheric measurements due to clean air and minimal pollution. Which of the statements given above are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option B. India has inaugurated the Himalayan High Altitude Atmospheric and Climate Research Center at Nathatope, Jammu and Kashmir, marking a major milestone in global climate science. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. It is India's first high-altitude atmospheric and climate research station. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Himalayan High-Altitude Atmospheric and Climate Research Center. Strategic location. The center is located at an altitude of 2,250 meters above sea level in Nathatope, chosen for its clean air and minimal pollution. It makes the center ideal for high-accuracy atmospheric and climate measurements. Hence, statement 3 is correct. The center will facilitate cutting-edge studies on cloud formation, aerosol interactions, and weather patterns. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Moving on to the first question. With reference to ammonia, consider the following statements. 1. Ammonia is produced using the Haber-Bosch process involving nitrogen and hydrogen under low temperature and pressure. 2. It is stored in liquid form under pressure and is highly corrosive in its concentrated form. 3. Ammonia is insoluble in water and does not react to form any hydroxide. 4. Ammonia is being explored as a carbon-free energy carrier due to its high energy density compared to lithium-ion batteries and compressed hydrogen. Which of the statements given above is correct or are correct? A. 1, 2 and 4 only, B. 1 and 3 only, C. 2 and 4 only, and D. 1, 3 and 4 only. The correct answer is option C. Ammonia or NH3 is a colorless gas with a sharp smell, widely used in industry and naturally found in environment and the human body. It is produced by the Haber-Bosch process. N2 plus 3H2 gives 2NH3 under high temperature and pressure in the presence of a catalyst. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Its concentrated form is corrosive and can cause burns or explode under high heat. It is stored as compressed liquid. Hence, statement 2 is correct. It is highly water-soluble and forms ammonium hydroxide in contact with water. Hence, statement 3 is not correct. It has 9 times the energy density of lithium-ion batteries and 3 times that of compressed hydrogen, making it a promising carbon-free energy carrier. Hence, statement 4 is correct. Hence, option C is the correct answer. Question 2. Consider the following statements. 1. They belong to a group of marine mammals called the pinniped group, fin-footed marine mammals. 2. They are found in large groups and are known for their loud barking sounds. 3. Spend most of their time in the ocean but come ashore for resting, mating and pupping. 4. They live mostly in Pacific waters. Which of the following species best matches the description above? A. Sea lion, B. Walrus, C. Sea otter, D. Dugong. The correct answer is option A. Recently, a toxic algal bloom off California's coast has led to unprecedented aggression in sea lions, causing them to attack humans. Domoic acid, a neurotoxin produced by the diatom Pseudonychia, is responsible for altering the brain function of sea lions. Sea lions, along with seals and walruses, belong to a group of marine mammals called the pinniped group or the fin-footed marine mammals. They are found in large groups and are known for their loud barking sounds. Spend most of their time in the ocean but come ashore for resting, mating and pupping. They live mostly in Pacific waters. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 3. The term CAPTCHA, two-factor authentication or 2FA, and honeypots are often seen in the news in the context of A. E-commerce security, B. Cyber security, C. Data privacy regulations, and D. Cloud computing technologies. The correct answer is option B. CAPTCHA, or completely automated public Turing test to tell computers and humans apart, is a challenge response test used to distinguish bots from human users, enhancing online security and protecting user data. Bots are automated software programs that perform repetitive online tasks. It blocks bots, preventing fake accounts, spam, and data theft, ensuring only human users access digital platforms. CAPTCHA is used in logins, registrations, transactions, comments, account recovery, and surveys to block bots and verify users. ReCAPTCHA also aids in book digitization. Other measures include two-factor authentication, adding a second verification layer via device codes, biometric verification using fingerprints or facial recognition, honeypots to trap bots, and behavioral biometrics that track typing or swipe patterns to distinguish humans from bots. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Question 4. Consider the following statements. 1. Formaldehyde is commonly found in household cleaning agents and insecticides. 2. Asbestos exposure can lead to serious lung diseases. 3. Carbon monoxide is an odorless gas released during incomplete combustion. Which of the statements given above is correct or are correct? A. 1 and 2 only, B. 2 and 3 only, C. 1 and 3 only, and D. 1, 2 and 3. The correct answer is option B. Common indoor air pollutants. Formaldehyde, found in wood products, glues, paints, and furnishings, a known carcinogen. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Asbestos, found in older construction materials, used for making fireproof or incombustible building components. Exposure can lead to serious lung diseases. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Carbon monoxide, or CO, a toxic odorless gas produced from incomplete combustion. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Therefore, option B is the correct answer. Question 5. With reference to artificial fruit ripening agents, consider the following statements. 1. Calcium carbide is permitted for fruit ripening as long as it is used in minimal quantities. 2. Ethylene gas approved by FSSAI must be applied in controlled ripening chambers and not in direct contact with fruits. Which of the statements given above are not correct? A. 1 only, B. 2 only, C. Both 1 and 2, and D. Neither 1 nor 2. The correct answer is option A. Artificial fruit ripening agents. Calcium carbide. It releases toxic acetylene gas and may contain phosphorus and arsenic, a carcinogenic substance, causing severe health issues. Its usage has been banned by FSSAI under Food Safety and Standard Regulations 2011. Hence, statement 1 is not correct. Permitted substances. Ethylene gas, approved by FSSAI up to 100 parts per million, triggers natural ripening. It must be applied in controlled ripening chambers and not in direct contact with fruits. Hence, statement 2 is correct. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 6. The Teesta River, often seen in the news, is the tributary of which of the following rivers? A. Ganges, B. Brahmaputra, C. Krishna, and D. Godavari. The correct answer is option B. The Teesta River is a tributary of the Brahmaputra, known as Jamuna in Bangladesh, flowing through India and Bangladesh. It originates in the Himalayas near Chunthang, Sikkim, and flows to the south through West Bengal before entering Bangladesh. Originally, the river continued southward to empty directly into the Padma River, the main channel of Ganga in Bangladesh. But around 1787, the river changed its course to flow eastward to join the Jamuna River. The Teesta Barrage Dam helps to provide irrigation for the plains between the Upper Padma and the Jamuna. The Teesta River water conflict is one of the most contentious issues between India and Bangladesh. Hence, option B is the correct answer. Moving on to the next question, consider the following statements. 1. He led the Mahad Satyagraha in 1927 for public water resources. 2. He participated in all three roundtable conferences. 3. He signed the 1932 Pune Pact with Mahatma Gandhi to abandon the idea of separate electorates for the depressed classes. Which of the following personalities best matches the above description? A. Dr. B.R. Ambedkar, B. Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel, C. Jawaharlal Nehru, and D. Subhash Chandra Bose. The correct answer is option A, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar. He was a social reformer, jurist, economist, author, and thinker of comparative religions. He was the first law minister of India. He was posthumously awarded the Bharat Ratna in 1990. He led the Mahad Satyagraha in 1927 against the denial of access to public water resources to the Dalit community. He participated in all three roundtable conferences. He signed the 1932 Pune Pact with Mahatma Gandhi to abandon the idea of separate electorates for the depressed classes. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Question 8. Consider the following statements. 1. As per Article 200, the governor can grant assent, withhold assent, or return the bill for reconsideration to the state legislature for further review and reconsideration. 2. As per Article 201, if the governor reserves the bill for the president's consideration, the president holds the final say on the matter. 3. As per Article 207, no money bill can be introduced in the assembly without the recommendation of the governor of the state. How many of the statements given above are not correct? A. Only 1, B. Only 2, C. All 3, and D. None. The correct answer is option D. As per Article 200, the governor can grant assent, withhold assent, or return the bill for reconsideration back to the state legislature for further review and reconsideration. Hence, statement 1 is correct. As per Article 201, if the governor reserves a bill for the president's consideration, the president holds the final say on the matter. Hence, statement 2 is correct. As per Article 207, no money bill can be introduced in the assembly without the recommendation of the governor of the state. Hence, statement 3 is correct. A money bill is a specific type of bill that deals exclusively with matters related to finances, such as taxation, government borrowing, and the appropriation of funds from the Consolidated Fund of India. Hence, option D is the correct answer. Question 9. Consider the following statements. 1. The Sarkaria Commission recommended that governors should be appointed after consulting the Chief Minister. 2. The Punchi Commission recommended that governors should act on bills within a fixed time frame, a 6-month limit for reserved bills. 3. The Venkatchalia Commission suggested that a committee should handle the appointment of governors. How many of these statements given above are correct? A. Only 1, B. Only 2, C. All 3, and D. None. The correct answer is option C. The Sarkaria Commission 1988 recommended that governors should be appointed after consulting the Chief Minister. Hence, statement 1 is correct. The Punchi Commission of 2010 recommended that governors should act on bills within a fixed time frame, a 6-month limit for reserved bills. Hence, statement 2 is correct. The Venkatchalia Commission 2002 suggested that the appointment of governors should be handled by a committee consisting of the Prime Minister, Home Minister, Speaker of the Lok Sabha, and the Chief Minister of the relevant state. Hence, statement 3 is correct. Therefore, option C is the correct answer. Question 10. The term de-dollarization, often seen in the news, is best described as A. A shift by countries to reduce reliance on the US dollar in international trade and reserves. B. The process of the US government increasing dollar circulation in global markets. C. A financial strategy adopted by companies to switch from the US dollar to cryptocurrencies for global trade. And D. An effort by central banks to eliminate the use of physical US dollars and transition entirely to digital currency. The correct answer is option A. De-dollarization refers to the process of reducing the dominance of the US dollar in global trade, finance, and foreign exchange reserves. It involved substituting the US dollar with other currencies for international transactions, commodity trading like oil, and reserve holdings. Hence, option A is the correct answer. Now is the time for the practice question. Consider the following statements. Statement 1. The transfer of pollen grains from the anther of one plant to the stigma of another different plant is called cross-pollination. Statement 2. A hybrid seed is produced by controlled cross-pollination between different varieties of the same plant. Which of the following is correct in respect of the above statements? A. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is the correct explanation for statement 1. B. Both statement 1 and statement 2 are correct, and statement 2 is not the correct explanation for statement 1. C. Statement 1 is correct, but statement 2 is incorrect. And D. Statement 1 is incorrect, but statement 2 is correct. Send us your answers in the comment section. Thanks for watching.
For more informative content, like, share and subscribe, and do not forget to press the bell icon to get the notifications.